The night is quiet, the kind of quiet that carries across the water like a soft sigh. You stand at the deck of your ship, a lone figure in moonlight, listening to the gentle lap of waves against the hull. Tonight you are not hunting, not fleeing, not chasing fortune. Tonight you sail with a purpose older than most maps, toward a meeting the sea itself has arranged. You are a pirate by trade and by choice. Yet the title is less about plunder and more about freedom. You have learned to read the tides, to trust the wind, and to let the ship answer when it is ready. The sea has been your companion through years of travel, through storms, fog, and calm alike. And tonight, it guides you once more. Below deck, in a small wooden chest wrapped in faded cloth, rests a special pearl. It is not a pearl of gold or fame, but something older, rarer, and far more important. You did not seek it. The day you found it, it was lying at the edge of the tide, half buried in wet sand. You lifted it with a steady hand, and for a moment, the world seemed to pause. It was warm to the touch, almost alive, as though it had been waiting for you. Since that day, the pearl has traveled with you, unseen and silent. Storms softened when they should have torn your ship apart. Currents shifted in your favor. Even fog that might have trapped you for hours, thin just enough to reveal the path forward. You never questioned it. You only carried it. Tonight, the pearl moves toward the purpose it was given. Tonight, it will leave your keeping. The mermaid, Ariel, waits. She does not rule the sea, nor bend it to her will. She watches old waters, where roots vanish and names are forgotten. When something sacred drifts from its place, she waits for it to be returned. The pearl is hers to receive, and you are the one chosen to deliver it. You move along the deck, checking a coil of rope and adjusting a lantern. The sails catch the faint wind, keeping the ship steady. The creak of timber and the soft slap of water against the bow confirm the ship is alive, moving with purpose. Each motion is deliberate, each swell guiding the vessel closer to waters few sailors ever reach. Far ahead, the moonlight paints a silver path across the waves. The waters shimmer subtly, catching the light in a way that is different from the rest of the ocean. Currents run deeper here, quieter, as if the sea itself recognizes the destination. The ship follows without hesitation, steady and unhurried. Below deck, the pearl rests quietly in its chest. It has traveled across years and countless tides, waiting for this moment. Soon, it will leave your hands and return to the waters that first shaped it. The journey has been long, but every motion, every swell, has led to this path. A gentle wind stirs, carrying the scent of salt and distant shores. The wake behind the ship smooths quickly, erased by the patient tides. The horizon stretches wide and unbroken, marked only by moonlight and the steady movement of the vessel. Stars gleam above, constant and distant, as the ship glides forward. The rigging hums softly with the motion, each sound a reminder of the path you follow. Ahead, the waters shift again, catching the moonlight in a subtle shimmer, marking the threshold between ordinary tides and the mermaid's domain. You straighten at the rail and check the lines one final time. The ship responds instantly, sails holding steady. Every swell, every whisper of wind, every gentle creak of timber carries you forward. The course is set, the destination and the mermaid awaits. And so you sail on, carrying the pearl towards its destined location. As the ship continues forward, your thoughts drift back to another voyage, long before this one had a name. It was a crossing you should not have survived. The sea had been restless that night, not violent at first, just unsettled. The horizon blurred into low clouds, and the stars vanished one by one until the sky felt close and heavy. You remember standing at the helm, knowing you had misjudged the timing, knowing you were too far from shore to turn back. Then the storm came all at once. The wind did not build gradually. It struck like a command. Waves rose higher than the deck, crashing against the hull with force enough to shake the timbers. Rain cut sideways through the air, stinging skin and blinding sight. The ship groaned under the strain, each impact sounding like it might be the one that finally split her open. You remember the moment clearly, the instant when survival stopped being about skill and became a matter of chance. The compass spun wildly. The charts were useless. Every familiar marker had vanished behind sheets of rain and darkness. Another wave struck the bow, and the ship rolled hard enough to throw you against the rail. That was when you thought of the pearl, not as a solution, not as a weapon, just as something that had been with you long enough to feel present, even unseen. Below deck, secured in its chest, it rested as it always had. You made your way down through the chaos, gripping the ladder as the ship pitched and lurched. Water seeped through seams that had never leaked before. The lanterns swung violently, casting broken shadows across the walls. You reached the chest and placed a steady hand on the lid. The ship shuddered again. And then, slowly, the storm changed. Not suddenly, not miraculously. The waves stopped growing. They still struck hard, but no longer with the same rising fury. The wind howled, but its direction steadied, no longer shifting without warning. Even the rain eased, thinning just enough for you to see the shape of the sea again. You did not open the chest. You did not remove the pearl. You simply stayed there for a moment, listening. Above deck, the chaos softened into something navigable. The ship still fought the water, but it no longer felt outmatched. When you returned to the helm, you found the compass settling, its needle trembling but no longer spinning. A narrow channel of calmer water revealed itself ahead, almost invisible among the waves. You followed it without question. By dawn, the storm had passed. The ship bore scars, cracked planks, torn canvas, bruises along the hull, but it floated. The sea around it lay calm and indifferent, as though the night before had never happened. Other ships had not been so fortunate. Wreckage washed the shore days later. Broken masts, splintered hulls, names you recognized, carved into boards and barrels. You said nothing when you saw them. You did not speak of the pearl then, just as you do not speak of it now. Some things prove themselves once and need no explanation. The memory fades as the present night presses in around you again. Your ship moves through calmer waters now, the surface smooth and dark beneath the moon. The past feels close, not as regret or pride, but as confirmation. The pearl has always done the same thing, not bending the sea to your will, but convincing it to choose another path. You glance toward the hatch below deck, where the chest remains secured. Soon, it will no longer be your responsibility. The thought carries no weight, only certainty. Ahead, the water looks different again. Not dangerous, but attentive. The surface tightens, smooth and reflective, as though something beneath it is listening. The ship slows of its own accord, drifting forward without effort or resistance. You allow it. The night grows quieter, and the sea stretches wide and dark around you. Whatever waits ahead has already noticed your approach, and the pearl, faithful to the end, has guided you here just as it always has. With quiet insistence, the sea has chosen once more. And this time, the journey is nearly complete. You ease your hand on the rail and look ahead. The moon still hangs overhead, but its reflection no longer stretches in a straight path across the water. Instead, it bends, drawn inward toward a wide, dark patch where the surface appears smoother, heavier, almost sealed. This is not a place marked on charts. You do not reach for the compass. You already know it would be useless here. Instead, you let the ship drift forward, guided by the subtle pull beneath the hull. The water no longer laps at the bow. It slides past in near silence, as though sound itself has been lowered. You move toward the center of the deck and bring the chest up from below, setting it carefully near the mast. The wood rests steady beneath your hands. The pearl inside does not glow, does not hum, does not demand attention. It simply waits. The ship glides another length forward, then another, until it comes to rest without anchoring or command. The sails slacken on their own. The rigging falls still. Even the night air seems to pause. You are no longer traveling. You have arrived. The water around the ship darkens, deepening to a shade that is reflecting less light than it should. The surface tightens, smoothing into a wide open circle that surrounds the hull at a measured distance. Beyond it, the sea resumes its gentle motion, but within the circle, everything remains still. The sea is listening. You stand quietly, neither calling out nor stepping back. This is not a meeting that can be rushed or summoned. The pearl rests where you placed it, the chest unopened, its presence understood without display. Time passes differently here. The stars above seem fixed, unmoving, while the water below shifts slowly, almost thoughtfully. Then, beneath the surface, something moves. At first, it is only a shadow. Not sudden, not threatening. It glides beneath the ship's reflection, long and smooth, tracing the edge of the circle before disappearing into the depths again. The water remains undisturbed, as though it has agreed to keep the movement quiet. You wait. The shadow returns, closer this time. A faint shimmer follows it, catching what little moonlight reaches this depth. The surface ripples gently, not breaking, but thinning, as though something beneath it is rising carefully. Then the water parts. She does not emerge with force or flourish. The surface simply opens enough to allow her presence, and then closes again behind her. She rests half within the sea, half above it, as though the boundary means little to her. Her head drifts across the water like dark silk, moving with currents too subtle to see. Her eyes reflect the moonlight faintly, not bright, not sharp, but steady. She studies the ship, the deck, the chest, and finally you. Ariel has been expecting you. You kept it longer than most, she says, her voice low and smooth, carrying easily across the still water. It sounds less like speech and more like sound shaped into meaning. You incline your head, acknowledging the truth of it. I wondered, she continues, if you would come willingly. You step forward and rest one hand on the chest. It was never mine, you say. A hint of something like approval passes through her expression. She drifts closer, the water supporting her effortlessly, bringing her to the edge of the ship's reflection. You found it when the tide placed it where you would see, she says. That was not chance. She gestures subtly, and the water between you clears, revealing the pearl's reflection through the wood of the chest. Smooth, perfect, unchanged by years of travel. It watches, she continues. Not to control, not to command, only to guide what still listens. You do not argue. You have seen enough to know the truth of it. Carefully, you open the chest. The pearl rests within, untouched by time. Moonlight slides across its surface, catching softly, as though the light itself hesitates before leaving it. You lift it with steady hands and step toward the rail. The mermaid rises slightly, the water supporting her as she reaches out. Her fingers do not drip or splash. They simply meet the surface and pass through it as though it were another layer of air. When you place the pearl into her hand, the sea responds, not with waves or sound, but with release. The circle around the ship widens, its edges softening as the water resumes its natural motion. The stillness lifts, replaced by a gentle, steady rhythm that feels familiar again. She closes her fingers around the pearl and regards you quietly. You have carried a jewel meant for the sea, she says, and you have kept it well. She lowers the pearl beneath the surface, where it vanishes without trace. The water brightens slightly, as though relieved of a long-held burden. "You seek passage," she says, not as a question. You nod once. "Not for gold," she continues. "Not for conquest." "No," you reply, "for what waits beyond the charts." The mermaid's gaze lingers on you for a moment longer, measuring not your words, but the space beneath them. Then she nods. "The waters will open," she says. "Not all at once, not forever, but long enough." She sinks slowly back into the sea, her form dissolving into shadow and shimmer until the surface closes smoothly above her. The ship shifts beneath your feet. The sails stir. The rigging creaks softly. The water at the bow parts gently, forming a clear path where none existed before. You remain at the rail as the ship begins to move once more, carried forward by a current that did not exist moments before. Behind you, the circle fades completely, leaving only open water and moonlight. Ahead, the sea stretches wide and calm, marked by a path only you can see. The pearl is gone. The watch is ended, and the voyage continues. The ship moves again, not with haste, but with certainty. The water ahead parts into a narrow channel, smooth and unbroken, as though the sea itself has drawn a path for you. The sails respond without command, filling just enough to carry the ship forward. Behind you, the water closes quietly, leaving no sign of the place where you met the mermaid. The pearl has left your possession. You notice its absence not by weight, but by silence. The space it once occupied has returned to the sea, and with it, the long watch you carried without ever naming it. The ship feels no different beneath your feet, and yet the voyage has changed. The sea no longer tests you. You follow the path as it unfolds, watching how the water ahead reflects the moon differently, smoother, deeper, as though the surface has learned a new way to move. The stars remain steady overhead, but their reflections bend gently along the channel, marking a route that does not exist beyond this night. You pass no landmarks. No islands rise from the water. No reefs threaten the hull. The sea remains open and clear, guiding the ship without resistance. It is a passage not meant to be remembered by maps or measured by distance. Time stretches. The night deepens, but fatigue does not claim you. The ship glides forward in even motion, its progress marked only by the soft sound of water slipping along the hull. Each moment blends into the next without urgency. At some point, the moon lowers toward the horizon, and the water ahead begins to change again. The channel widens. The surface lightens, shifting from deep blue to a softer shade, as though dawn has found the sea before the sky. The air grows warmer, carrying a scent unlike open ocean, clean, rich, and unfamiliar. You step to the bow and watch as the water brightens further, revealing faint shapes beneath the surface. They are not reefs or sandbanks, but something smoother, shaped by long, patient tides. This is not land, not yet. The ship slows naturally, gliding into broader waters where the current eases. The path behind you fades, leaving only open sea in its place. Ahead, the water stretches wide and calm, reflecting a sky that seems just slightly lighter than the one behind you. You understand without being told. This is the threshold. Beyond it lies a place spoken of only in fragments. The land of eternal treasure. Not a shore of gold or a harbor of ships, but something quieter and harder to name. A place where journeys end without stopping, and where the sea no longer asks for proof. The ship drifts forward until it reaches still water, settling into a gentle rhythm. There is no need to anchor. The sea holds you in place. You remain on deck, hands resting on the rail, watching how the water moves here. Slower, deeper, untroubled by distant tides. The stars above shine softly, their reflections steady and undistorted. Nothing demands your attention. Not anymore. No storms gather. No course needs correction. The ship waits, and so do you. In time, the sky brightens further, not with the sharp light of morning, but with a steady glow that feels permanent. The sea mirrors it, stretching the light outward in every direction. You do not see the mermaid again. She does not need to return. The passage has been granted. You take one last look back toward the darker horizon, where ordinary waters lie beyond sight. There is no regret in leaving them behind, only the knowledge that the path forward no longer requires watching. The ship moves on. Each swell carries it farther from the known world and closer to something steady and lasting. And so the voyage continues, not toward an ending, but into a wide open calm where time stretches gently and the water never runs out. The ship sails on beyond the charts into waters that ask nothing and offer no return. And you go with it, carried forward, unhurried and free, to the land of eternal treasure.